Barakatah Yahawah,
Barakatah Yahawah,
YAHAWAH'S, the thunder Nawah, Hashabah, Shabbat Shalom, Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kwadash, Hayah, Shomka, Yahawah, Malakwaka, Daba'ah, Ratazakah, Ayah, Asha, Baratazah, Kawah, Hayah, Bashamayim, Nathanawa, Lacham, Kol, Yawam, Wasalakmanawa, Kawawatnawa, Lasalachnawa, Kawawatnawa, Wala'ah, Labaynawa, Banasayawa, Above, Awashaynawa, Mayam, Rai, Kayah, Lakad, Amalakwa, Waha'Allah, Wathaparel, Wawalamyam, Aman, Shema, Yashurah, Yahawah, Allahaynawa, Yahawah, Shema, Yashurah, Yahawah, Allahaynawa, Yahawah, Shema, Yashurah, Yahawah, Allahaynawa, Hear, O Israel, Yahawah power, Yahawah is one. You may be seated in the presence of the Most High. Hallelujah. All right, hallelujah, hallelujah, and we say, call on Yahawah, Hashem Yahweh Shai, the water Yahawah, you know, he's infinite, inexplicable, and his mercies endure forever. We're here again at another feast. Let's put our hands together for the Most High. It's amazing. He's allowed us to breathe in there, and to get another opportunity to get it right. Right? And that's what it's all about. So we're going to go into today's feast, and you know, I plan on not being long. All praises, but we got some time. You know, Israel, when it came to the feast days, and we see that the word of the Most High, the Torah, was read. It was read for hours. You know, the books were open, and the Israelites were excited about receiving from the Most High. So let's have that same spirit when it comes to the feast days and hearing from the Most High. All right, the little ones in the front, little ones in the front, little ones in the front. There you go. It's a solemn feast day. Hallelujah. All right, let's get to it. Give me the book of Nehemiah 8 and 8.
Come, this is the book of Nehemiah, chapter 8, verse number 8. So they read in the book of the law of God distinctly and gave the sense and caused them to understand the reading.
So this is where we are today. We find ourselves once again in the presence of the Most High, and we have an opportunity to, hear His words. It's only going to be by His word that we're delivered. So give me the book of Psalms, of course, 81, and we can start at verse 1 and read 1 to 3. Because many times when we blow the shofar for new moons, that was what we did for a lot of the feast days. But this day specifically is that feast that Psalms is talking about. When it says blow up the trumpet in the new moon, when it says your solemn feast day, it was talking about this day today. So go ahead and read that from the top.
Come, Psalm 81 and 1. Sing aloud unto God our strength. Make a joyful noise unto the power of Jacob. Take a song and bring hither the timbrel, the pleasant harp with the psaltery. Blow up the trumpet in the new moon.
Do what?
Blow up the trumpet in the new moon.
Do what?
Blow up the trumpet in the new moon.
So everybody with a shofar, I want you to stand up. And on this day, we're going to blow up the trumpet. It's the beginning of the new moon. We're going to face the city of Yerushalayim, and we're going to blow it up, as the Most High said. Hallelujah. Come on, give yourself a round of applause and give ourselves a hand for the Most High. He's given us an opportunity to obey Him. And if you can hear that sound, there were different blasts in our culture that determine different responses. There was a time for war, there was a blast. There was also a blast for the calling of assemblies. So the shofar was really used as an intricate weapon. We see with the walls of Jericho came down with the sounding of a shofar. So we need to understand how one of the most powerful weapons there is in the nation of Israel, to the nation of Israel, is actually the shofar. Yeah, you have some brothers, if it was up to some brothers, they tell you don't bring a shofar to camp. You know what I'm saying? But all praises. Remember, these weapons are not carnal, they're mighty through the Most High. So even though this is just a regular shofar, once it's in the hand of an Israelite, an obedient Israelite, the Most High will respond to that weapon, just as He did with many of our ancestors when we got weapons in our hands. Now it becomes something different. All praises. Give me the book of Numbers 29, and we're going to start at verse 1. It's very important that we understand trumpets, not just from the standpoint of us coming to a feast just to be present, but it's important that the offerings for atonement were relative to how you observe this feast. All these feasts are incumbent of one another. You didn't just go to atonement and get atoned for. There had to be something that you already did in order to receive atonement. All right? Like I always like to say, physical analogies to convey spiritual truths. So that's what the Most High was showing Israel in giving them the Torah and giving them His instructions to do what's pleasing to Him in order for deliverance to happen to us. And we know this. We do this year after year after year. But oddly enough, Israel failed year after year after year. All right, let's start reading.
It's the book of Numbers 29 and 1. And in the 7th month, on the first day of the month, You shall have a holy convocation. You shall do no servile work. It is a day of blowing the trumpets unto you.
Come on.
And he shall offer a burnt offering for a sweet savor unto the Most High.
So this burnt offering. Now during the Feast of Trumpets, those were additional offerings because on the new moons you had offerings. So on the feast days, it didn't decline. And a lot of times when it comes to this work, a lot of us, we get a little weary in well-doing and we decline from our first initial zeal.
That's right.
Does that make sense? But the Most High was always, even the purpose for us gathering is to increase us. And so that we would have an experience. I was talking with Captain Yashub earlier today, and too many times we as Israelites have not had the experience of obedience. If you truly obey, there's an experience, and experience, what's the old saying? Experience is the best teacher, right? So an experience is something hard to sell to somebody. You yourself have to, but if you can sell somebody an experience, YAHAWAH'S was able to sell the disciples the experience. And they bought into it because they knew that he's seen it. You know, the way a vision stops is when other people can't see the vision.
Right.
Because you don't have the motivation to continue on because you haven't seen it. You haven't experienced it. And that's why we see today a lot of people faltering. We got these feast days. We got all these things that we can observe to experience relationship with the Most High, but people are still failing.
Right.
Because they truly haven't had that experience. Once you've seen it, why are some people, why do they reach levels of what we consider greatness, and then some don't? Me and Captain was talking about at one time, Captain Raham, I think it was you, it might have been you, I'm getting older, or it might have been your counterpart from California, Tassadot. But he was talking about people that they knew that could play on a professional level. I'm sure you knew brothers that could play on a professional level when it came to sports, right? But they could never make it out of the hood. You know what I'm saying? They could never make it. You got plenty of people, I'm sure you know in Brooklyn, in the streets of Brooklyn, that on those courts could play basketball better than Michael Jordan. Many. But guess what? They lost their zeal for the love of the game. They got sidetracked. You see what I'm saying? They diverted from the course. How many of us, the greatness that the Most High has for us, if we would just stay the course,
Right.
but how many of us have faltered? All right, let's get into it. Read again, Numbers 29, verse 1.
Numbers 29:1. And in the 7th month, on the 1st day of the month, ye shall have a holy convocation. You shall do no servile work. It is a day of blowing the trumpets unto you.
You shall do no servile work. You're going to see through many translations that it's no laborious work. You're not to do any work. This is something to be observed with the most attentiveness and solemnity in terms of seriousness, because this is where you got checked. This is where the Most High would evaluate you. This day was the day, return in all you get your report card.
Right.
That's what this day was. And based on the things that you've done, a lot of times we think we can come to the feast and then okay, now we're all right because we're here. No.
Right.
No, it's what you did leading up to here. But some of us, this was scary because guess what? Some of us didn't have the appropriate offering.
Right.
If you didn't have the appropriate offering, you were shaking in your boots today.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? So we need to, with that mindset, this is how we need to come to these feasts, you know. And that's why the scriptures say, examine yourselves. We're to constantly examine ourselves because this is a solemn assembly. Are you showing up dirty? Are you showing up unacceptable? Are you showing up impenitent? Meaning I haven't repented of nothing. I still got the same character. I still got the same luggage of last year, because if we're in the 7th month, what happened first? Passover. So this is your check between what was given to you on Passover to now. Here's your checkup. Let's see. Let me come and get a checkup from the neck up from the Most High.
That's right.
Let's see what you've done with what I've given you. Now, doesn't leave a hole in me to the talents. We even just got the Torah. Now, in the so-called Jewish community, they will say that this is Rosh Hashanah, which is a new year. But we know our new year happened in winter.
In the springtime.
In the spring, which was Passover.
That's right.
But it's new in the newness in terms of you being renewed.
That's right.
Will be your beginning. This would be your start based on what was given to you.
Right.
All right? And that's why we see a lot of other feasts follow in the 7th month, which we know 7 symbolically is that of beginning, but it's also judgment. 7 is judgment. We also see in this time the building of the temple. We're going to look at that when we go to the book of Ezra 3. All right? So let's go.
Come on, verse 2. And you shall offer a burnt offering for a sweet savor unto the Lord.
For what?
Unto a sweet savor unto the Most High.
So what you presented today, we were gathered here today as one man to present something that the Most High would accept. Somebody would be shaking in their boots.
That's right.
And seeing, am I acceptable? Have I brought, or have I prepared myself for this feast day? Too often times we don't prepare for the feast. We just come to it. Read.
Come. 1 young bullock, 1 ram, 7 lambs for the first year without blemish.
With what?
Without blemish.
Read on.
And their meat offering shall be of flour mingled with oil, 3/10 deals for a bullock, and 2/10 deals for a ram.
Now, who provided these things?
Levites.
Right. They were the ones that would present them, but who had to bring them to Levi? The people. And if you were lazy,
Right.
if you weren't sowing, in the time that you were sowing, you were negligent, you didn't have it.
Right.
You didn't have it to give. Read.
It says, and their meat offering shall be of flour mingled with oil, 3/10 deals for a bullock, and 2/10 deals for a ram, and 1/10 deal for 1 lamb throughout the 7 lambs, and 1 kid of the goats for a sin offering to make an atonement for you.
So today made the atonement for you. This is not on the Day of Atonement.
Right. Come.
And how many of you don't have to raise your hands, but we get it twisted and we think when we fasted that that's, we straight because we fasted, right? And oftentimes where the Most High said, this is not the fast that I desired from you. I didn't want you to do it that way. I wanted obedience as your sacrifice. Right. Obedience is better than sacrifice, but obedience is still an offering.
You're bringing the right sacrifice.
You're bringing the right sacrifice. We see early on this narrative in the beginning with Cain and Abel.
Right.
They were both present. They both came before the Most High, but one had an acceptable offering and one didn't.
Right.
Who are you today? Are you the acceptable or the unacceptable? And that's what we have to ask ourselves. All right, read on.
It says, beside the burnt offering of the month, and his meat offering, and the daily burnt offering.
So along with the other offerings, that's why we cannot grow weary, beloved, in well-doing. That's why you have to, it says, he who endures to the end shall be saved, but it's what you have to show before the Most High. And we're going to get into that. I know we know the scriptures concerning the work that you have to present before the Most High. If you got a precept, that's fine.
Yeah.
Bring it up.
Yeah, I was just going to say what you was going into. It literally says, ask for the old ways to the old paths.
That's right.
This is
Jeremiah.
Yeah, 6:16. Thus saith the Lord, stand ye in the ways and see, and ask for the old path, where is the good way, and walk therein, and ye shall find rest for your souls. But
Right.
they said, we will not walk.
We will not. So there was a declining from the commandments. There was a fall from the commandments. God, read on.
Come. Numbers 29. Come. Numbers 29, verse number 7. And ye shall have and ye shall have on the 10th day of this 7th month a holy convocation, and ye shall afflict your souls. Ye shall not do any work therein.
So we can stop right there. But leading up to that day, you had to have an acceptable sacrifice. Now give me what we always read on feast days, Romans 12 and 1.
Come.
Romans 12 and 1. Like I said, I'm not going to be lengthy. But according to YAHAWAH'S, His will be done. YAHAWAH'S, it'll be thorough. Because we need to understand the seriousness of coming before the Most High on His set apart days. Read.
Come. Romans 12 and 1. I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that ye present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service.
Is your what?
Which is your reasonable service.
So it's reasonable, it's within reason, is that of sensible. It only makes sense. It's a sobering mindset. Your reasonable service before the Most High. Read on.
Come. And be not conformed to this world.
Be what?
Be not conformed to this world.
So this is how this transcends into now. This is how we should show up to the Feast of Trumpets. Not being conformed. If you are, then you're not acceptable. But if you haven't had the experience with obedience, if you've been double-minded, if you've been wishy-washy, if you've been lukewarm, then you're coming blemished. And you're not accomplishing your reasonable service. So there won't be any increase. That's why we see from year to year the same struggles. Year to year, no change. Still talking about, it's got to get a time where you go from, the G League. Everybody in the G League eventually wants to go pro, right? You don't want to stay in the G League forever. Nobody knows the G League superhero if he never makes pro. And if anybody knows the G League, that's the league before you get to the NBA or the professional league. You see a lot of people playing on that level. But how many brothers stay at that level? They don't make the cut. Read on.
Come. It says, and be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind.
You don't think the Most High is going to check and see, let me see who the designer, is he still the same? Let me see what's up with his mind. Because doesn't the Most High try the hearts? You don't think on this day, this when he coming through looking like, it's just like Passover. It's similar. He's giving you that on Passover. We applied the blood. He's giving us the Torah. We got the instruction. Now he's coming to see what you do with what I gave you. And some of us are empty-handed. Some of us are no-shows. Some of us count it as a light thing. Read on.
Come, precept.
Bring it up.
Haggai 1 and 7. Thus saith Yahweh, consider your ways.
Come on.
Come, that's it.
That's it. And that's before you come here. Because you're already supposed to have the appropriate offering today.
Right.
Come on.
Come, it says, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is that good.
That who had to bring the offering?
Come.
That you may prove. Read.
And acceptable and perfect will of God.
You got to see that. If you don't do this, you'll never have that experience. And you'll never be driven enough to finish. You'll never complete it if you don't have the experience. All right? So give me the book of Ezra. Let's start at chapter 3 and read verse 1. We're going to read on down. So we see what the offerings represent. Remember, the fasting of the Day of Atonement is only as effective as your obedience on the Feast of Trumpets. It's only as effective as your obedience and your offering in the Feast of Trumpets. Read.
This is Ezra 3:1. And when the 7th month was come, and the children of Israel were in the cities, the people gathered themselves together as one man.
So one thing we need to understand, and what do these animals that were sacrificed, how does that come over in today through Hamashiach Yahawah? Because that's what we should be asking ourselves. We know that we are to present ourselves as living sacrifices. But one of the things that needs to be seen from us as individuals and being living sacrifices is the fruits of the Spirit.
That's right.
Because the Spirit is the Word, is the law. John 6:63. The words I speak, they are spirit and they are life. So the law is spiritual. So these are the things, this is where it transfers from the animals to you. And it's an issue of character. Read that part again, because we're going to see something that happened they were gathered how? Read.
Come. Ezra 3:1. And when the 7th month was come, and the children of Israel were in the cities, the people gathered themselves together as one man to Jerusalem.
They did what?
They gathered themselves together as one man to Jerusalem.
What does the scripture say? Gather yourself together. O nation not desired. Now we know that historically Israel's issue was being divided as tribes or kingdoms, the northern and the southern kingdoms. But at this time we see a coming together. And so we need to understand that being unified in the commandments of the Most High, in the covenant, faith in the law, and Hamashiach Yahawah is the only thing that should be bringing us together. But look how we got all these other things that are intermingled in our feasts. Envy, hatred, jealousy, all these things, the backbiting, the slander, all the things that the Torah told us not to do, that's what's dividing us. But here, these people understood, man, we're going to be gathered together as one man, unified. So are you coming with the spirit of unity, or are you divided against the Most High? Or are you divisionary? You know how many people have eaten the feast and had the spirit of division with them,
Right.
that we ate with?
Right.
Over the years, come and go, right? They weren't there with that spirit of gathering as one man. So we gotta ask ourselves, am I in that spirit of unity? Am I in the spirit of gathering myself together, or do I have the spirit of somebody else's experience that's leading me to say that we the only people that know everything? Read on.
Come. It says, verse 2, Then stood up Jeshua, the son of Josadak, and his brethren, the priests, and Zerubbabel, the son of Shealtiel, and his brethren, and built the altar of God of Israel.
They did what?
He said, and built the altar of the God of Israel.
So they were there for the one purpose, to build a place of sacrifice, an altar, to give righteousness unto the Most High, acceptable offers. That should be our mindset.
That's right.
You know, if we had that mindset as a people, it goes back to the Tower of Babel. Because the Tower of Babel, they were building something that was against the Most High, but they were unified in doing it.
That's right.
And they were determined to be successful. And the Most High had to confound the languages. He wants us to build him that altar, but that place of acceptable sacrifices. Come, read.
I was going to say as well, when you look at Judas, he wasn't unifying with the brothers on the Passover.
That's right.
And he was there, but he wasn't there in spirit.
He wasn't there.
So you gotta have think about it. Do brothers or sisters have a spirit of Judas on them, where it's a lot of division, a lot of that whole camp banging. You know,
Right.
It all goes back to that spirit of division.
That's right.
All right, that's it.
Read on.
Come, this is Ezra 3, and I'm gonna start at verse 2 again. Then stood up Jeshua, the son of Jozadak, and his brethren, the priest, and Zerubbabel, the son of Shelathiel, and his brethren, and built the altar of the God of Israel to offer burnt offerings thereon, as it is written in the law of Moses, the man of God.
Now think about it. You didn't hear nothing about no doctrine. All it was the law of Moses. And they were instructed to acknowledge this is symbolic of keeping the commandments. Keeping up the commandments is it should unify us. Right. If something's wrong, you're not keeping commandments if you're not unified. You got the spirit of division. That's why we're so divided. Because somebody ain't giving acceptable sacrifices. They can't see the vision. You'll never have the experience. You're still going to be worldly. You're still going to have a worldly character about yourself. You can't help but promote division. Because you ain't seen the vision. You ain't experienced it. Even Martin Luther King said he may not get there with us, but he done seen the mountaintop. He's seen it. If you can see your destination, ain't nothing gonna stop you from it. If you value where you going, the kingdom, and we gonna get the kingdom. But a lot of us over here, we sluggards in this, man.
Right.
You ain't seen it. You ain't seen it. Because you wouldn't let that beset you. You wouldn't let that stop you. I know you ain't seen it. Because you still paying more attention to the obstacle than the goal. We're going to get that experience by the Most High's will. Read.
Verse 3, and they set the altar upon his basis, for fear was upon them.
Ain't nobody, fear was upon them. What's the beginning of wisdom? It's the fear. They even, now Most High gave them wisdom. They knew that it was about unity. It wasn't all this division. They were afraid not to do it. They had to keep these commandments. We got to build this altar, man. You see what I'm saying? They were motivated. I'm going to tell you, trials, hunger is a hell of a motivator.
That's right.
Read.
Come. It says, for fear was upon them because of the people of those countries, and they offered burnt offerings thereon unto the Most High.
Come on.
Even burnt offerings morning and evening.
When?
Morning and evening.
When are we to meditate on the laws?
Morning and evening.
Morning.
Come.
Day and night. All this is physical analogies to convey spiritual truths. If you were to go through the law, you would see the spiritual revelation in it, man. It was talking, it was telling us what to do. Israel didn't get it at first. And a lot of Israel don't get it today. What's the saying? They strain at a net to do what? What's that saying? Anybody remember that? I forget the saying. Somebody, I believe it's in the scriptures. Yeah, but that's what we're doing. We're straining, and struggling to accomplish things that should become first nature. We can do all things through Mashiach, YAHAWAH'S. Just not love each other. Bring it up. Hallelujah. Most High loves Israel, and we know that it's not his will that we perish.
Matthew 23:24. Can we start at 23?
Come.
Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you pay tithe of mint and mist and cumin, and have omitted the weightier matters.
You omitted the weightier matters because they didn't have the experience. Come on.
Omit the weightier matters of the law, judgment, mercy, and faith. These ought ye have done, and not to leave the other undone. Ye blind guides, which strain at a neck and swallow a camel.
You strain at a net and swallow a camel. Meaning your mind is on things that you should be focused on, the things that, all of it, but don't neglect any of it. And they were negligent. There's a penalty for negligence. You know, people call it picking. Why you always picking with somebody? You know, poking at people. You know what I'm saying? You're hypocrites. You that say don't commit adultery, are you committing adultery? You that say don't lust, are you lusting? Read.
Come. It says, verse 4, they kept also the Feast of Tabernacles, as it is written, and offered the daily burnt offerings by number, according to the custom, as the duty of every day required.
Come on.
And afterward offered the continual burnt offering.
You see a pattern of consistency. Can you say that about yourself? I've been consistent over the years. Or have I faltered? Have I failed? Am I constantly repenting? Because that can become an issue. That can become an issue to where you can't get right.
Right.
Never get it right.
That's right.
That can be an issue. Read.
And afterward offered the continual burnt offering, both of the new moons and of all the set feasts of the Lord that were consecrated, and of every one that willingly offered a free will offering unto the Lord.
That willingly. And so we have to be willing. And that's why I said the only way that you will is once you get that experience. A lot of people are caught up with the knowledge, but not with the practicality of obedience. We're caught up with the information. We're caught up in the day of information and knowledge, and we have forgotten the weightier matters. These people kept the law. That's what they were doing. That was their focus. And that's enough to build the altar. That's enough to resurrect the temple. Why would you need anything else? Read on.
Come. It says, verse 6, from the first day of the 7th month began they to offer burnt offerings unto the Lord.
Acceptable offers. It wasn't a bunch of people proving how smart they were, how they could break it down. They were about the labor. Remember, the harvest is plentiful. The laborers are few.
Right.
A lot of people don't want to do basic work. That's what's happening with our people now. Don't even want to do basic work. But if you continue to build and you labor together, you're going to succeed. And how much more in the house of the Most High? Come on, you built in your house. While the Most High house lays waste. It lays waste because there are not enough laborers. We shouldn't be duplicating ourselves. We should be duplicating who's in us. But a lot of people can't see it. They don't see that. They don't see that in you. They see you. They don't see Hamashiach YAHAWAH'S. Read on.
Come. It says, but the foundation of the temple of the Most High was not yet laid.
It was not yet laid. Whose business was Hamashiach's about? It's about his father's business. Whose business are you about? A lot of times we're supposed to be. But your father, whoever, right? What father? Right. It may be about your own business. Read.
They gave money also unto the masons and to the carpenters, and meat and drink and oil unto them of Zidon.
They gave what?
They gave money also unto the masons.
They gave money to those to build it. That's what the money was for, to build an altar to the Most High. Read on.
And to the carpenters, and meat and drink and oil unto them of Zidon, and to them of Tyre.
Isn't it interesting that it's those people that built this nation for them because they refused to obey the Most High? So he said, you're going to build an altar, but it's going to be a wicked one for the devil that the Bible speaks of. You don't want to build it under me? Well, build it for this taskmaster.
Right.
Read.
To bring cedar trees from Lebanon to the sea of Joppa, according to the grant that they had of Cyprus, king of Persia.
Come on.
Now, in the 2nd year of their coming unto the house of God at Jerusalem, in the 2nd month began Zerubbabel, the son of Shalakiel, and Jeshua, the son of Jozadak, and the remnant of their brethren, the priests and the Levites, and all they that were come out of the captivity unto Jerusalem, and appointed the Levites from 20 years old and upward to set forward the work of the house of the Lord.
So this was started in the 7th month. That's very significant, because this is where we need to start. We need, in this time, we see what's going on in this time. And great destruction, whenever we were united as one, it was death and destruction for our enemies.
That's right.
And we see what's going on over the world. The earthquakes, the floods, tornadoes, to numbers that were never, even the heat index, to numbers that people can't even remember. They don't even have the data to go back that far that it was ever that hot. They talking about the first time recorded that it was this hot. Because there's nobody alive ever to record that it was any hotter. Nobody left no record at that type of heat. You see what I'm saying? So we see the coming of a Mashiach, man. The days draw nigh. So we need to show up to these feast days already prepared. All right? So, again, I'm not going to be much longer. Give me Jeremiah 17 and 10.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The priest is absolutely correct. You got to just ask yourself, and you got to say to yourself, you can't, just like YAHAWAH'S said, you can't serve two masters. It's not going to work. Most I say, either you're going to hate one or you're going to love the other. And like priest is saying, it only works if you love the Most High. It only works if you love doing these laws, statutes, and commandments. Every day when y'all come and go out of your house, and if you work for the damn devil, man, everything that you see, scripture supposed to pop into your head, man. Every day, that's a real man of the Most High right there. You go to the store, scripture wrong, scripture pop right into your head. You just correct it. And again, you can't serve two masters. You have to get that old leaven out, out of your system. This includes myself as well too. I'm not exempt from anything, that these scriptures, verify. So it goes, around the board. We have to check ourselves, every year, do inventory on ourselves every year, because if we don't, we're gonna slip into that abyss like we know everything. Like we don't need, no kind of chin checking a little bit. You're supposed to love correction anyway. A brother come to you, and correct you on something. There's don't supposed to be no pushback, especially if that brother's correct. Brother tell you something, hey, I seen you last week doing something, or wasn't you supposed to do this, or was you a man of your word? According to the scriptures, you supposed to do this. There's no pushback. Ask priests. We have elders councils all the time. All the time. Matter of fact, I said something the other day when we had one, and he said something to me. I had nothing to say. Am I lying? No, good. I said something, blah, 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 blah. And that was it. That was it. Actually, he corrected me on something that probably more would have corrected me if he wouldn't have said nothing. But nothing to say. Nothing. And that's how you brothers, that's a wise man right there. A wise man receive correction. Old stubborn brother, I ain't got you, don't tell me nothing. Brothers walk off. You don't know everything. You don't know everything. That's a brother, all right, when you belong in the celestial world, brother, you can't be corrected. If you know everything, brother, get away from me. All right? Tell the angels I said hi, brother. Why you here? Okay? I love correction, man. Brother, that's gonna make me more of a righteous man. And a man that, I respect a brother that's corrected. More so a brother that don't want to receive correction. I can't walk with a brother that don't want to receive no correction. Oh, hard-headed brother, man. Don't want to see even have a storm off, you humping and pumping and sweating, man. Come on, man. Just take the correction, man. It's better for you, man. You'll grow, okay? You'll become a better man, okay? And you'll be teaching other men when they need to be corrected, man. How you gonna teach a man, okay, you gonna correct a man, and you don't want to take correction yourself, man? All right? It's just a chin check to check up everybody, man.
Absolutely. And that's one of the things that we offer. That's well said. It's that of humility. That's where the animal sacrifices now, because remember, a lamb was humble. A lamb was submit by nature. And so we have to have, as Elder was bringing out, that humility. Now that we're living sacrifices, we need to come before the Most High with that humility. He knows if your heart is hardened, and he's saying, no, he ain't accepted. No, That brother is a pure narcissist. Yeah, you can't tell him nothing. You know, he's an ultimate narcissist, man. He cannot do anything wrong. He won't admit to any wrongdoing. Right, and if he does admit to it, you're going to be more wrong than he is. That's what a narcissist is. That's what a narcissist does. Go ahead, bring it up.
I just want to actually go a verse before, because what you and the elder was bringing out, this is Jeremiah 17:9. The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it? Right? So kind of what y'all was going into, when you look at how we rationalize a lot of our actions, is it by the Torah, is it by the scriptures, or is it by how we make things kind of bend to our own rules and negation, right? Maybe this one time, right? Like Elder said, we all are guilty of it, right? But this goes back to like Haggai 1:7, right? Examine yourself. Paul says the same thing. Examine yourself, right? Are you in this truth, or are you just in it for a reason or for a season? So, kind of what we're going into, you know, I got one more. It's Isaiah 5:21. It says, "Woe unto them that are wise in their own eyes,
That's right.
and prudent in their own sight."
That's a narcissist. Go ahead.
Come, I mean, that's just
That's a narcissist. And when staying at Jeremiah 17, go to the verse, you were 17:9. Go to verse 10.
come. So verse 10, I, the Lord, search the heart.
And we're just talking about this. This is when we come to these feasts. This is what he's looking at. He's searching the heart. Where do you think he does it? At the feast day, when we're gathered together. Come on, I mean, he's constantly doing it. But we got to be fearful in the mindset, even of Mashiach, because the Most High is giving him the power of judgment. Read it again from the top.
So like even, they say, you know, during the feast days, that's sifting season too.
That's right.
So the Most High is sifting to see whose heart is pure and sincere.
That's
or
right.
whose heart is doing their own thing and deceitful in their own way,
That's right. That's why the blowing of the trumpet was symbolic of the Most High coming, but him coming to inspect and to let other people know, let the Israelites know that the set apart days are coming. They're on their way. You need to prepare yourself. Come on.
I, the Lord, search the heart. I try the reins, even to give every man according to his ways and according to the fruit of his doings.
The fruit of your doings, that's what's being looked at on these feast days, and it's synonymous with the offering you give. Meaning your life. What are you doing with your life? Read that part again. Read verse 10 again.
Come, I, the Lord, search the heart. I try the reins, even to give every man according to his ways and according to the fruit of his doings.
So I want to see, this is the day that I check you. I want to check up on you and see what have you done with what I've given you. Remember, this is, the 7th month is a wellness check from Passover to see if you're doing well or not. All right? This is midterm.
It's literally 6 months from,
Come on.
in a 12-month cycle, you got the 6th month right here.
Come on, that's Bob.
It's like a midterm.
There's nothing new under the sun. All right, this will determine whether you pass or fail. Right here. But most I've given, again, many of us an opportunity. Give me 1 Thessalonians 2 and 4. I'm going to get a few more.
Come, 1 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 4. But as we were allowed of God to be put in trust with the gospel, even so we speak, not as pleasing men.
Not as what?
Not as pleasing men.
See, that's how you know if you're a man pleaser or a man pleaser. I like to go man pleasers. If you're a man pleaser, then you haven't had the experience with the Most High. You not, if you keep pleasing men and you care what people think, you haven't had the experience because of the experience with the Most High to have you say, hell no, hell to the no. So a lot of this wickedness, man. If you had that experience, how you gonna fear man more than the Most High? I know you ain't had the experience. You can look at it, oh, say, no, that man ain't experienced, they ain't had that experience. And that's why it's important to listen to those who have had the experience in the Most High, that had that relationship. That's why the Most High sent us a Mashiach.
Right.
He didn't send us no regular Negro that's just talking. We tired of all the talkers. We tired of the Jacksons. We ain't talking about the Jackson 5. But, you know, we tired of the Jessies. We don't need nobody. All these were men that failed miserably, man.
Right.
And we're not going to follow other men. No, you're going to be greater than the greatest of them because you're following the great and terrible power, Yahweh, through his son, Hamashiach Yahawashi, who did it right.
That's right.
Nobody else did it right. So how you going to follow men, man? We know what the scriptures say, the blind leadeth the blind. We got a bunch of brothers and sisters in ditches. You know what I'm saying? We got to come out of that, man. Read that again.
Come. Verse 4. But as we were allowed of God to be put in trust with the gospel, even so we speak, not as pleasing men.
We were put in trust with the gospel being the truth, not to just speak it,
Come.
but to live it. But to live it. Read on.
But God, which trieth our hearts.
Right. This YouTube, man, and social media, I always get into it. It'll mess a lot of people up. And the Most High has got it that way. There's nothing you can do against the truth. The scripture bears record. So, you know, a lot of it's got you telling on yourself. You know, the book of life he's already recording it.
Right.
He's recording your deeds. He's recording your actions. I can't wait to see the playback on some of that, man. Some of us are going to be like, oh, this is a horror movie right here. And I'm starring in it. You Freddy. Yeah, you Freddy Krueger. Based on your behavior, man. Before the Most High. Chainsaw Massacre, yep, that's you. Jason, yeah, Jason. Go ahead.
Verse 5.
Mhm.
For neither at any time use we flattering words,
Come on.
as ye know, nor a cloak of covetousness. God is witness.
Is witness, he sees it, man. We know that he sees it. Is that it on that?
That's verse 5.
No, that's it. So the Most High wants to see the fruit of your obedience on the feast days. It is a day of presentation. Remember, I don't know if y'all I know us, we used to have to, I don't know what they're doing in schools now, but I think when Elder was school, they didn't have pencils. They used stones. They write on tablets and stuff. But the thing is, we used to have presentation. And you would have to give, and they're doing that in colleges now, you know, and even in some schools, you know, you see more of that, but where you're getting, they want you to get comfortable with presenting. And, you know, you would feel a little, you'd be nervous. You'd be nervous. And remember, they used to do it with show and tell when you started out when you were young. You see what I'm saying? But we're going to have to do that before the Most High. We're going to have to present before the Most High. And rehearsing the righteous acts, that's why we do it now. For that final day. For that final judgment. So we got to understand the feast days are not just something to be looked upon or to be there, but have the experience. Because many of us haven't had that experience with the feast days, that of giving obedient offerings, all right? Or righteous sacrifices, or being living sacrifices. Yeah, we live it, but we not, some of us are the living dead as it relates to your sacrifices. You ain't gave nothing. Bring it up.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12, verse 14. For God shall bring every work in judgment.
That's right.
With every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil.
And that can happen today. You don't have to wait. That can happen today. All right? Give me Colossians 1 and 10. I got a few more.
This is Colossians chapter 1, verse 10. that ye might walk worthy of the Lord unto all, pleasing, being fruitful in every good work, and increasing in the knowledge of God.
You're increasing. Increasing. A lot of times we can see people where they have decreased. Their ministries have decreased. Their relationship with the Most High is decreased. All right? So let it not be us. Give me Baruch 4:4.
God, this is the book of Baruch, chapter 4, verse 4. O Israel, happy are we, for things that are pleasing to God are made known unto us.
Ooh, y'all know how to please the Most High.
Right.
What if you don't do it? You know how to do it. What if you don't do it? The Most High is going to give you according to your work. Give me Hosea 12:2.
Come.
You can read one.
All right, this is Hosea chapter 12, starting from the top. It says, Ephraim feedeth on wind, and followeth after the east wind. He daily increaseth lies and desolation. And they do make a covenant with the Assyrians, and oil is carried into Egypt. The Most High hath also a controversy with Judah, and will punish Jacob according to his ways. According to his doings will he recompense him.
So the Most High has given us the things on how to please Him. He's given us the answers, but He's going to reward us if you're not committed to that. That's the controversy is already started, and you know if you're in controversy with the Most High right now. You know if you're in enmity with the Most High right now. Then forsake those ways, man, and choose to have no more relationship with Him, and so that you can get into the experience. All right. So I'm gonna get ready to end on this note. Give me 2 Corinthians 5:10, and Zechariah 1:4-6, and I'll end there.
Come. This is 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 10. For we must all appear before the judgment seat of Hamashiach, that every one may receive the things done in his body, according to that he had done.
The judgment seat of what? Of who?
Come, of that body.
Read that here from the top.
Come. For we must all appear before the judgment seat of Hamashiach.
He got the power to judge. Because we keep putting a lot of emphasis on forgiveness. Yeah, but it's a false balance if you don't see Him as the judge. When you come to these feast days, it ain't just about forgiving. That's Christianity. He ain't gonna forgive you for nothing.
That's right.
He gonna judge you. He gonna kill you. Bring it out.
Sirach 11:26. For it is an easy thing unto the Most High in the day of death to reward a man according to his ways.
You gonna get it how you live. That's the saying, right? Get it how you live. Read it again.
Come, 2 Corinthians 5:10. For we must all appear before the judgment seat of Hamashiach, that everyone may receive the things done in his body, according to that he hath done, whether it be good or bad.
Oh, bad. Remember, y'all can read it for yourself, John 5 and 24-27, where Yahawash was given the power to judge. The Most High gave him that power.
That's right.
Go ahead.
First Maccabees, chapter 2, verse 53. When I started at 55. Yahawashi, for fulfilling the word, was made judge.
True. That's not, a lot of us, yeah, he was making, oh, no. You're going to cut my head off. Some told me, I can't wait to see him. No, you better wait. Yeah, you better wait. You ain't ready to see him right now. Yeah, because he's going to have a sword. But give me Zechariah 1:4-6, and I'll end there.
Zechariah 1.
4-6. 4-6.
Zechariah chapter 1, verse 4. Be ye not as your fathers, unto whom the former prophets have cried, saying, Thus saith the Lord of hosts, turn ye now from your evil ways, and from your evil doings. But they did not hear, nor hearken unto me, saith the Lord.
I hope that this isn't gonna be a repeat of our forefathers. All right, read again from the top.
Come. It says, Be ye not as your fathers, unto whom the former prophets have cried, saying, Thus saith the Lord of hosts, turn ye now from your evil ways, and from your evil doings. But they did not hear, nor hearken unto me, saith the Lord. Your fathers, where are they? And the prophets, do they live forever? But my words and my statutes, which I commanded my servants the prophets, did they not take hold of your fathers? And they returned and said, Like as the Lord of hosts thought to do unto us, according to our ways and according to our doings, so hath he dealt with us.
Come on, and that's how the most, he doesn't change, and that's how he's gonna deal with us. So let's experience these feast days through giving the offerings of obedience, and we'll be the better for it. And with that, I say shalom. Let's sound that shofar one more time unto the Most High, and everything that comes with sounding the shofar unto him. The Most High destroy our enemies by Shema Mashiach YAHAWAH'S, and he give us deliverance, and every obstacle that would stand in the way of obedient Israel will be destroyed at the blast and the sound of his coming. We know it's going to be the last trump in which he returns. Hallelujah. Barakatah Yahawah, Yahawah, Latanganawa, Awar, Ashabak, Shabbat Shalom, Abanawa, Shabbat Shamayim, Kwadash, Ayah, Shamka, Yahawah, Barakavka, Aba'ah, Ratazaka, Ayah, Ashah, Barataza, Wo, Ayah, Bashamayim, Latanganawa, Lacham, Ko, Yawam, Wasalakanawa, Kawawaknawa, Kasalaknawa, Kawawaknawa, Wala'ah, Kabayanawa, Banusayawa, Bo, Awashanawa, Maya, Ra, Kaya, Laka, Amalakwa, Waha'ala, Watapara, Lawalamyam, Aman, Shema, Yashirah, Yahawah, Ahayinawa, Yahawah, Shema, Yashirah, Yahawah, Ahayinawa, Yahawah, Shema, Yashirah, Yahawah, Allahayinawah, Yahawah, we're going to pray Psalms 23. Yahawah, Ra'ayah, Ra'ah, Akashar, Bana'awa, Tasharabya, Tazanya, Ilmaya, Manawa, Kahu, Yanahalanya, Napashya, Yashawab, Yanachanya, Bama Agalia, Tazadak, Lama'ain, Shamwagam, Kaya, Halak, Bagaya, Tazalamawan, La'a, Ayara'a, Rai, Kaya, Ava, Amadyasha, Wamasha, Anath, Ka, Hama, Yanahama, Ya, Thyaraka, Lapanya, Shalachan, Nagad, Tazaraya, Dashana, Bashaman, Ra'asha, Kawasya, Rawaya, Ak, Tawab, Wahasad, Warada Pawan, Kal, Yawanyam, Kayaya, Washabafya, Babayat, Yahawah, La'arak, Yawanyam, the Most High is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the path of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of my enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and we shall dwell in the house of Yahawah forever. Amen. Hallelujah. Ram Yahshua. Ram Yahshua. Ram Yahshua. Asher Yahweh Torah. Women and children, you already know what to do. We pray for the food. Yahawah, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Barak, Ma'akal, Yahweh, Shaka, the water, Amen.
Hey, Shemai, real quick, a brother give, everybody just give the brother Hezekiah a hand. He pulled a string for us over at the Mellow Lunchroom. A lot of things that help in the soccer pack. It's a lot of the brothers that donated. And, hey, it's a good thing, so let's have a good time. All praises.